Today we are gonna do an oil change on this Mark IV Toyota Supra. I've already gone ahead and purchased all the parts. First off is Mobil 1 10W30 Advanced Full Synthetic. This brand is just my personal go-to. And then there's also the filter M1 102A if you go with Mobil 1. And then I went ahead and also picked up a new drain plug along with the crush washer. What you're gonna need specifically for the Mark IV Supra is a 14mm socket so that it fits your drain plug properly. Now you can see that the entire vehicle is currently up on wheel cribs right now, which is not necessary at all just to do an oil change. But I figured I already have the vehicle up this high, I might as well do an oil change as well. Because, hey, it's time to do it. Of course, safety first. I have my entire vehicle on wheel cribs right now, but as a fail-safe, I also have these 6-ton jacks on the bottom to catch the vehicle just in case anything happens. If you're only lifting up one side of the vehicle, make sure you chock the back tires as well. Now, of course, you're gonna need something to catch all the old oil. In this case, I'm gonna use this. You can pick one of these up yourself or grab a bucket or something like that to put under the vehicle. All right, gotta loosen this up so that all the oil can drain into there. And then I'm gonna align this right under the oil pan. And here we can see the drain plug is right there. And I'm gonna start loosening it up. That looks loose enough to start going by hand. All right, I'm just gonna let that run until it's completely dry. The drain plug needs 27 foot-pounds of torque. Gonna put that back in now. And here we go, tightening it to 27 foot-pounds. All right, there we go. Time to remove the oil filter. It is right there. Now this is a modified Supra. I'm used to this filter not being this easy to access. This area right here on a stock Supra, if I remember correctly, has some clutter right here, so you won't be able to reach your arm down this way. All right, that's on too tight, so I'm gonna have to use my little tool. Now the trick here is gonna be, how am I gonna get this thing inside there and then also be able to have enough room so that I can twist that off. Work in progress here, but it's slowly starting to come off. There we go, see that? Nice. Hand twisting it off now. I can see some oil already spilling out. I can hear it spilling down into the drain pan down there. Gotta love how Toyota decided to put the filter right here for the 2JZ GTE. Seriously. All right, got the filter out of there. Toyota oil filter, OEM here. Got the new filter right here, Mobil 1 M1 102A, in case this is the filter that you are interested in getting. All right, gotta get some oil right here just to get her started. That should be good. I'm just cleaning this off so that I have a good grip on it once I get it down there. Here we go. Gotta squeeze back in these tight spaces. This is gonna be so fun. Here we are, made it past that hose there. Gotta tighten that filter back in there, and then we should be good. Just wiping it down now so that I can twist it on. Of course, I'm just going for hand tightening. All right, I just put the gloves back on to see if I could get a better grip on that filter. All right, that's as far as it's gonna go. Now you gotta wipe up all this mess here. Clean up after yourself, eh? How about that? Here we got the mess from removing the filter. Gonna clean as much of that off as I can reach. Time to fill her up with oil. Ready to put the new oil in there. The Toyota service repair manual calls for 5.3 quarts if replacing the filter. So I'm putting in 5 quarts now and then 0.3 more after this. Here we go, gonna add in another 0.3 more quarts. I've already marked the line right here. This is an approximation. All right about that line right there. Looks good to me. Put that back in. It is time to start the car and let it run for a few minutes. Now, just because there's a new floor jack there doesn't mean that these ramps become obsolete. Because look, while this entire vehicle is on wheel curbs, I could use this as a step. Very cool. All right, I'm just gonna let this run for a few minutes and then come back. I'm sitting out here while the car is running, just so I don't sit in there and breathe all these fumes. All right, that's long enough. Time to turn the engine off. So before I check the dipstick, what I'm gonna do is allow 5 to 10 minutes to let all the oil settle down so that I get a more accurate reading. I've given it a little bit over 10 minutes now, so time to check the dipstick. A little strange there. Looks like it's only about halfway full. I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. The dipstick isn't showing quite full yet. And what I read was that an aftermarket turbo requires more plumbing and therefore requires more oil. So I'm just gonna gradually add a little bit more until the reading goes full. Nice. I'm gonna call that full. Close her back up. So I ended up using about 5.6 quarts of oil. The Toyota service repair manual says to use 5.3 quarts of oil, but that's referring to a completely stock 2JZ GTE setup. This is modded. It has the single turbo, and apparently it requires more plumbing in there. When I put 5.3 quarts in there, the dipstick wasn't reading quite full yet. What I'm gonna do now is check underneath to make sure everything is nice and dry. Make sure there's no leaks happening around the oil pan and the drain plug. That looks like it's holding up. At least for now, this is looking good to me. All right, I hope you can see this, but I don't like what I see here. There is a drop of oil that looks like it seeped out from the bottom of the filter there. So I'm gonna have to go in there and tighten that with my little strap tool. All right, I'm gonna wipe off the oil that I saw on the bottom of the filter. Clean that off first so that I can get my strap tool on it. All right, I think that should do it. Don't wanna over tighten it. I hope I haven't already done that. Turning the engine on once again. Time to shut her off. Here we are again underneath the car after starting it for about 5 minutes. It looks nice and dry now. I don't see any more oil seeping out from under the filter, so hopefully that holds. Let me take one more look at the drain plug. Cool. I think we might be done with this oil change. I'm gonna check the dipstick one more time. Awesome. Right at the full line, pretty much. Well, that's gonna do it for changing the oil on a Mark IV Toyota Supra. Okay, bye.